Now let's talk about the strip. At 4 minutes and 56 seconds, we are introduced to the movie's version of the Las Vegas Strip. The view is looking north up Las Vegas Boulevard from the Flamingo Road intersection. On the right corner, you see the Tangiers. Further north, on the same side of the road, is the Flamingo. Directly across the street from the Tangiers is the Dunes. North of that is Caesar's Palace. And beyond that, in the distance, you'll see the signage for the Frontier and the Stardust. The scene is set 10 years before the car bombing happens in the movie, which means it's 1973. This version of the strip is not only different from the way it looked in 1973, it is significantly reconfigured geographically. Let's start with the obvious things before getting into the more subtle. First, there's no such property as the Tangiers. It's a fictional place created for the movie to stand in for the property Lefty really ran, the Stardust. In 1973, what really existed on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo Road was Empey's Desert Villa, a tiny motel that occupied the space from 1952 until 1979, when Barbary Coast opened in its place. Fast forward to 1994, when the movie was filmed, and even though Barbary Coast was still there, it isn't standing in as the Tangiers for the movie. You can tell because no building that has ever existed on this part of the strip has had hotel windows facing Las Vegas Boulevard. Its strip-facing frontage has always been a flat wall with the property's marquee signage displayed on the upper half of the building. Even when it was renamed Bill's Gambling Hall in 2007, it retained the same exterior wall look. That didn't change until it became Cromwell in 2014. And even though the building was stripped down to its foundation, the basic flat frontage aesthetic remained the same when they rebuilt it. Another difference between the Tangiers and any building that has existed here is the porte-cochere. No property that has ever really existed in this location has ever had a porte-cochere located on the strip. It has always been located at the back of the property, the opposite end of where it's shown here. So despite being located where a real Vegas property existed, both in 1973, when the scene is set, and in 1994, when the movie was being filmed, it appears the entire structure representing the Tangiers was created with movie magic. But that's not it for the Tangiers. The movie says the Tangiers is one of the tallest casinos in Las Vegas. Considering how small the parcel of land is between Flamingo's southernmost entrance and Flamingo Road, about 1.8 acres, there's really only one way this could be accomplished within the existing infrastructure as we know it. The Tangiers has to be one of, if not the, tallest hotel casino in Vegas. You can't say it's the longest. That would require us to change the geographic footprint we know exists. And you can't make it any wider because that would require you to relocate Flamingo Road, which would be an even bigger infrastructure change. So until the movie provides visual information establishing it isn't, we have to believe that everything we know about Las Vegas is the same in the movie as it is in reality, and the Tangiers fits on the same plot of land Cromwell occupies today. Across the street from the Tangiers, you see the Dunes. What really existed here in 1973 was more of Caesar's Palace. Even before they bought the parcel of land on the northwest corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo Road from Steve Wynn in 1971, they were leasing it from Howard Hughes Summa Corp and using it as a parking lot. In reality, the Dunes was located a quarter-mile south of Caesar's Palace, on the southwest corner of its intersection with Flamingo Road. In the movie version of the Vegas Strip, they've completely relocated the Dunes. But that's not all they did to it. While we can't see beyond what is displayed here on the strip, we know that in 1973, the Dunes was a huge property, not only in acreage, but it had already opened the Diamond of the Dunes Hotel Tower back in 1961, which was one of the tallest buildings in the whole city. And since we know the land Caesars purchased from Steve Wynn on the northwest corner was only 2.2 acres, it is mathematically impossible for the version of the Dunes that existed in 1973 to fit on this parcel of land. You couldn't even just relocate the Diamond of the Dunes Hotel Tower because it was wider than that parcel. Also, while that is the real Dunes marquee sign being shown, the building preceding it, the casino entrance to the left of your screen, isn't the Dunes Casino. First, the Dunes Casino wasn't located that close to the Strip. Like a lot of properties at the time, it was set a bit back. Not as far as Caesars or Bellagio, but enough to make room for a parking lot. Second, the font used on the entrance isn't the property's signature font, showcased on the Dunes marquee shown here. Compare the N and the S in Casino to the letters used in the Dunes. Branding a property with a signature font is something Vegas properties have done as far back as the El Rancho to help maintain the overall theme and concept throughout. It's still done to this day. In the Dunes case, even though the property looks significantly different than its motel origins, the original Dunes font never changed as long as the property existed. It only received a slight tweak. Considering the movie completely relocated the Dunes, for a long time, we thought this building and that signage belonged to the Sahara, or one of the other Middle Eastern-themed resorts, and was just relocated to this location. You'll see something later in the movie that helped create the initial Sahara connection theory. However, after studying the fonts of the Sahara, the Aladdin, the Sands, and the El Morocco, we were unable to confirm that any of them used this font, displayed here, on any of their signage at any point. The closest match was the original Aladdin, whose N might be identical, but the A and the I have identifiable differences. So it appears the Dunes Casino, or at least the casino signage, is completely movie magic, just like the Tangiers across the street. In 1994, during filming, the land that Dunes is shown occupying was still largely undeveloped by Caesars. In fact, it would be another decade before the Augustus Tower, the building that resides there now, would be built. Lastly, when the movie began filming on September 14, 1994, the Dunes was almost 1 year removed from its implosion on October 24, 1993. Scorsese elected to resurrect the property and its iconic strip marquee to help establish the 70s timeline in this view. Today, the southwest corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo, where the Dunes was actually located, is home to the Bellagio. Now let's start breaking down the finer points of difference. First, looking just past the Dunes marquee signage, to the left of it, if you look closely, you'll see two of Caesars Palace hotel towers. These are the same. We hope you've enjoyed this premium content preview. For access to the rest of this episode, as well as all the premium content we offer, go to patreon.com/360vegas. A monthly subscription will give you access to the enhanced version of the podcast, often with bonus content, exclusive podcasts like 360 Vintage Vegas, 360 Origins, 360 Vegas Movies, insider information on all things 360 Vegas, 360 Vegas Vacation, and early access to everything. To subscribe, simply go to patreon.com/360vegas. That's PATREON. Or you can find a link to Patreon on our blog, 360vegaspodcast.com.